I want to show you something really exciting that I recently found out. And yeah, I found out something that you can do with AI chatbots that is absolutely amazing and that blew my mind. I don't know if it will blow your mind. I just want to put it out there anyway, just because it was so exciting for me. So there's a bit of a backstory. I was playing around with coding and making websites, way back, like 15, 20 years ago. I was playing around with that, and I learned a bit of HTML. I learned a little bit of CSS to style it, and then I learned PHP, and I was doing some projects with like calculating stuff. But it was very basic, and the most I was learning was actually the PHP side, because I was doing some stuff for school, which was cool, very cool. And that was the first time I got, thinking, I got a bit of experience with programming, but not like a professional programmer. It was fun, but I didn't get very far. And then, I was playing around with websites and, started to style them a bit, using CSS as well. But again, I didn't get very far. I made some like little web pages, but they were very, if a professional did them, it looked so much better. So I basically gave up on that because my pages just didn't look very compelling. And then there was other tools, I used Wix in the past, or Squarespace, or WordPress, and they've got these templates, and there's not that much to do on the basic level anymore. And then it was a little bit too complicated again for me to go in and change things. So I just basically, I didn't really need it either. However, I had this idea back then that maybe I could one day make like an art piece that is basically on a screen, that runs on a screen. I was imagining like a screen in an art gallery. And I was thinking of these like squares, lots of little squares on this big screen. And it, not sure if I was thinking touch screen back then, but now I'm thinking it would be great if it was a touch screen. And you touch one of these little squares. There's like thousands of these squares, or hundreds at least. And you touch one and it changes the color. And or you touch one and all of them change the color, and then you can, by touching them, you can actually get a color fixed. And and then the more people walk by, they can all touch those squares, and you get this interactive art piece that is basically made by all the people who interact with it. And I always thought that is possible somehow with programming, and somehow with like a web design type thing. I knew you can do quite a bit, the style. You could actually make squares and things, but I never figured out, that I never went that far that I could make something like that happen. I could probably get the squares somehow there, but I did not know how. Anyway, over the last years, I basically didn't spend much time with that anymore. I didn't spend much time designing any websites anymore. I just used some, templates with Wix, basically. Fast forward to today. There is this thing, these AI chatbots, and they can actually code. And then I thought, maybe one day, this makes that possible, to actually code, like let the AI code this thing. And but there was one thing that always didn't work, and I couldn't wrap my head around how I would do that. There's this thing when you want to have a website and you want to test it, you always had to download you have to run some sort of server on your computer to run it locally, or you have to upload it onto the web, and then you need to work with, you've got, I don't really know anymore. You have to have stuff installed, and it needs to all work and stuff. I remember that was PHP or some Java. You had to, I don't even know how to call it anymore, but you have to run it through some sort of compiler. You need a compiler, and I don't know. It seems so complicated. And I thought one day AI will actually be able to help me there. And then a couple of months ago, I had this little idea. I thought I was working with Claude, and I was actually coding a little bit with Claude. It basically taught me coding a little bit because I was coding for some spreadsheets that I was doing, and you can, and with Excel or Google Sheets, you can actually write code for that to run in the sheet. And I used the Google Apps script, and I wrote a little bit with that, and Claude really taught me how to do that, which was really cool. And then I had this idea, maybe I could ask Claude if there's something that could help me do that without any installations or any or learning any new coding language, no new programming language. And so I thought today I did that actually, and I'll show you what I did. So let me open this. So I show you the prompt that I asked Claude, and that should work. So you should be able to see that now. Yep, you should. So there is the prompt that I did. So when I had this idea, that was a bit too big. So what's a prompt? So that's just what I asked. What's a programming language that doesn't require any installation or setup to get started? I'm looking for something that I can write in a standard text editor and then run straight away. Because I didn't want to, as I said, I didn't want to download anything or, I knew that I didn't have to learn the code because Claude can write it for me. And then it said Python is often recommended, but it does require installation. For a language you can use immediately without any setup, I'd suggest JavaScript. And I was like, I had done a little bit with JavaScript. I knew that it runs in websites, in standard HTML websites, but I never knew that you can just run it without any setup. And then it basically said, do this, open a basic editor, and then it gave me an example script straight away. And that's this. And this is the code, very simple. And it told me to basically copy that, put it in a file, and then run it. And this is my first JavaScript program. And I did that. I just put it in a file, ran it in a browser, and it worked. And it said, hello world. And that already blew me away, right? Because I was like, I could actually maybe have some working program, like a code, without any of this other stuff, learning new languages, installing new stuff, going into these complicated things, paying for some sort of web hosting thing where I can manually add some stuff. And yes, so, and then I was like, what could you actually do with JavaScript? Because I couldn't really remember how involved that is, and it gave me some interesting ideas, and basically it told me that I could technically do what I was thinking of with my art project. And then it gave me a to-do list, and I can add a to-do another one, which is, I don't know, really cool. And then I've got it, it showed me that I can actually create some sort of very simple one file programs. That's amazing. Yeah. And then I said, that's awesome, thanks. Yes. And then I carried on, and I actually made this prompt, and I did that with Claude, and I did it with Claude Sonnet 3.5. And I have to say, it turned out it worked flawlessly. Straight away when I typed it in, it worked. Straight away. There was no issues whatsoever. Now we've got the problem, it's not really a problem, but so that was the free version of Claude that I used then, and I didn't pay for any subscriptions at that point. And now, actually, like last week, Claude started to downgrade the free version to the Haiku model, which is not as good as the 3.5 Sonnet, not as good as at coding and things. So I went and did a bit of research and looked up which is the best model, and the only one that is better than the 3.5, or there are some others, but the one that I could imagine using is the ChatGPT, the paid version of ChatGPT. And then I started. Okay, I just signed up for ChatGPT again. I did that in the past, so it's no big deal, and I like it. It can generate images. It can do so many things. It's got the GPTs, which I really like. It's got internet access, which I really like. And I thought today I want to just show you, how I create this page, and we together we try it in ChatGPT. So let's go back to ChatGPT and have a look. So you should be able to see my browser again here, and we go into ChatGPT. So this is yet now ChatGPT 4.0 with Canvas. So the Canvas just means that it creates this extra window where it can put code, or it can put like basically a text document or something, and you can work with this window. I could just use 4.0 as well, but with Canvas is actually quite handy, quite nice. And that's the latest version. It's a beta version as well. However, so let's have a look. So I actually went into Claude and started a slightly better prompt. So okay, I think I've got it. So we have a bit of a prompt. So I wrote, you are a professional software engineer with decades of experience in HTML and JavaScript. Your task is to create an interactive web page with HTML and JavaScript. The page will be filled with around 300 little colored squares. The squares will be clickable. When the user clicks on a square, all squares change to a random color, except that one clicked square. The square that was clicked will keep its color until it gets clicked on again. The color is fixed after clicked on once, and unfixed. I don't have to. The color is fixed after clicked on once and unfixed again when clicked on again. All the unfixed squares will change the color randomly when the user clicks anything. Multiple squares can be fixed at the same time. The amount of possible random colors will be around 500. The width of the page will be adjusted automatically with the browser window size. So that's basically what I want. And I would say let's just try it. Let's just have a look what it comes up with. Let's see if it gets it right. That would be amazing if it gets it right the first time. Claude did really well, I must say. I didn't start with the full thing with Claude. I just basically told Claude to make only the squares, the colored squares, and then I make them clickable after. So I basically went step by step. This time I'm trying to do the whole thing in one go. So here's a simple HTML and JavaScript implementation of your request. Feel free to test it out and let me know if you'd like any modifications or improvements. And now I can actually, with that code, which looks very, very short. Wow. Looks very short. If that works, that would be like a very efficient code, I think. Let's have a look. Please create the HTML page for me to download. Okay, so now it hopefully creates that page. Very good. Now let's have a look. If I click on that, it downloads it, and I've got lots of squares. Very good. So that looks very good. And that's my screen. I am very, very happy about that right now. So now, if I click one square, any, it should actually fix the color. And then when it's fixed the color, all the other colors should change in that moment. So click. Nothing happened. Okay. Ha. So I've got a bug in there. Ah, that's a bit of a shame. Okay, that's fine. Fixed and unfixed. Fixed square. Oh, okay. Hang on. I think I know what's happening. So it seems like when I hit some sort of field here, some pixel that is not one part of the square, maybe some, at the border or something, or in between, then it actually changes all the colors. So if I by accident hit just, yeah, okay, if I click between them, it actually, I think that's the problem. Okay. All right, so maybe we had a slight misunderstanding. I want when any of the squares is clicked on, meaning being fixed or unfixed, getting fixed or unfixed, I want all the unfixed squares to change color. Okay, I don't know if it understood this now. Okay, I've updated the behavior so that whenever any square is clicked, whether it's being fixed or unfixed, all the unfixed squares will change to a new random color. Whew. Okay, that now should really work. So I copy the whole thing again, get into our text, into our HTML document, paste it in there, save it, reload the page, and now I want click yes, yes. Oh my god, that took way too long. Okay, that should stay now, the green here, and that purple stays, that pink stays. Yeah. Yes. Okay, when I click on something, it changes color. It works. It works. So these squares are now fixed. Or which ones? I don't know. Yes. So these squares are now fixed. Okay, now I could, for example, I can show you that they actually fix by, I reload the page and then nothing should be fixed anymore, of course, because it cannot know, it's like opening the document new and then it's all just lost, the information. I've got a fix for that for my end result, which I made with Claude, and it worked perfectly fine. I've got an actual database where I save the fixed squares, but that obviously doesn't work with just one little page, one little file here. But as long as this session is going, as long as I'm not refreshing the page, it should actually stay. So I can actually, I'll click around here, and now I'm just fixing all the ones in the top row here. and then you can see the whole top row of squares is fixed. And I can just fix the ones underneath as well, and you can see they don't change anymore. Click, click, and basically this corner here becomes all fixed now. That's what I wanted. And then you can actually, if this was if this screen was in an art gallery, you could actually manipulate, like click on them so often until you get the color that you really want for that one square. So I want this to be orange. Oh no, is it orange? Yes. No, say yellow. I want it yellow, and then I want the one that's next to it also yellow. And I click on it until I get the yellow one. Could do that, or there's some other techniques as well. Click, click, click. Oh, that was yellow. And then there's another yellow one, and then there's some yellow. And then I could try this to make this also yellow, green, blue, blue, green, brown, not yellow, blue, green. I've spent hours with this. There we've got a yellow one. So now we've got 3 yellow ones next to each other here. And you can actually create an image. The problem with that is as soon as I refresh, it's all gone and it's all random again. See, and yeah, and that's why I made one for a database where I've got that I've got online running now that I can manipulate, and it actually stays there. But that's for another day. All right, so I showed you that I got this done. It took a little while to actually get it done properly. So let's have a look how often I had to change it up. So how often we had to. So I made this big prompt with my explanation. Maybe the explanation wasn't the best. However, and then I had, so that was the first one, then 2, 3, 4, it doesn't work, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's it. So I wrote something 8 times and I got the exact result that I wanted. So this is exactly what I wanted, 8 times. So it made it now that it's about 1%. So is this 100? No, it can't be 100. But anyway, it says that it made the square about 1% of the width of the page. I think it's more. This is not 100 squares. So I could play around with that, say make them a little bit smaller. They might be a little bit too big, and then we get more squares in one view. But overall, I'm quite happy with that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. It took a lot longer than I thought, but that's how it is sometimes. And however, the proof is there; it works. And the amazing thing is that I had to write no code. The only thing I had to do is copy and paste a couple of times. So, and everyone can do that. Copy and paste is not a big deal, right? So copy and paste, and I didn't even have to write the name and then .html, because ChatGPT could just give me a HTML document that I can then edit or change. That's what I did. I didn't even have to do that. I could have asked ChatGPT every time to give me a downloadable file. But, so basically the point of this whole thing is you don't need to be a programmer. You don't need to have years of experience in, with computers and all this stuff. You basically just need language, and you need the model that you want to work with, either the Claude, now the paid version, the Claude Sonnet 3.5. I'm very surprised that Claude Sonnet 0.5, actually 3.5, got this done quicker than ChatGPT. So Sonnet 3.5 was actually very, very good, and had not one error in it. But it was maybe just a misunderstanding with me and ChatGPT there. But that's how it goes with demonstrating things sometimes. And yeah, I mean, that's a lesson as well, right? Okay. Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully you just go and try some stuff out now. Maybe you've got ideas already as well, what you can do with, programs. You can, now the world really is your oyster. You can make these programs. You can make an app basically a web-based app. And with all sorts of stuff, you can go as complicated as you want, I guess. And yeah, there can be bugs, but you can work them out, as you saw, right? Okay, so thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.